Good morning, everyone. Welcome to another podcast of the Funky Bunch at Sunday Brunch. I think I'll actually remember to plug everything right now instead of, at the very end like I usually do. So, we record these live every Sunday morning at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time at Twitch on twitch.tv/DJ_funky_fresh. And I post them live, well, not live, I post them right afterwards on YouTube at youtube.com/DJFunkyFreshGaming and on SoundCloud, which then goes to Spotify. There's my plug because I always forget. How's everyone doing today? It's been a week, like it always has. But I'm sure y'all want to know and get to today's topic, which is Animal Crossing. Motive lovely. How are you? I'm tired. But I'm making it through. So, we'll look at Animal Crossing since its inception to its current, as well as the 3 spin-off games. Really just kind of see how it started, where it went, and yeah. So let's start with the original OG Animal Crossing for the GameCube back in 2001. No, 2002 released. Jeez, it's been so long. So, the original game on the GameCube had, your player arrives by train. You meet a nice cat named Roger. You answered questions from Roger, which determined your starting face, your starting pattern, your clothing pattern. You named your town and everything, and then when you arrived at the station, you saw your character for the first time. You go to Tom Nook's shop, who's like, oh, you've got a house. Actually, in fact, we've got 4 empty houses. And so, right in usually the middle of the map, there were 4 houses. You could choose whichever one you want, upper, northeast, northwest, southeast, southwest, and that would be your house. Well, it was for the GameCube, so you could have 4 people playing on it. Each of you got your own house. It was already predetermined and everything. Let's see. A couple of the small things. Let's see. The mayor of your town was Tortimer, an old tortoise. To save, you had to go to the save point, which was a gonk droid located right outside of your house. Gonk droids were these really cute, wiggly creatures. If you have built a bridge or a slope on your island and you had to give money to this little wooden thing, that's a gonk droid. They were a little annoying because they were found. You could find them on your own, and they were located under the ground, and they replaced fossils. So you could dig up a fossil, or you could dig up one of these droids. Other than that, the main features of the game was obviously pay off your debt, build up your house, pay off your debt, build off your house, until you had fully expanded your house. Doing so would give you a statue of yourself. And, donate to the museum, the bugs, the fish, the fossils, and paintings. So you'd have a nice little art section of there, which I don't know anybody who's ever actually successfully completed the art. So there's that. There's also, there was an actual post office you could go to where you would then, You could change your town tune there. You could change your flag. And you could mail things. There's a little junkyard where people would go to throw away their trash. Or you could dump your trash. If you didn't claim it within a day, it was cleaned up. That's about the most. The one really fun, mysterious is there was a cat named Blank that you had a random chance of meeting. No, wait, that was on the DS one. Hold that thought. But, yeah, that's basically the original OG Animal Crossing. So, let's see. Did I miss anything? Oh, another thing is the villagers. Two more things. One was the villagers there would be, you could go up and ask if they needed you to do anything. And they would give you quests like, hey, catch me this. Hey, deliver this item. Hey, do this. Hey, do that. So you could specifically ask them to give you something to do to make money. So that was kind of nice. Let's see. The other thing was fossils. So when you had fossils, you would bring them to Blathers, give them to him individually, one by one. He would then send them away. So any fossils you found would take an entire day to analyze. They'd give it to Blathers. Blathers would mail them to be identified. They'd get mailed back to you. And then you would then take them back to Blathers to see. It's like, oh, hey, do you have any of these? So that was a little annoying. Anyway, moving on then to the second, which was on the Nintendo DS, which I also had, which was Animal Crossing Wild World. Emotive, that sounds annoying. Absolutely. It was annoying. It just took so much time. It was just, ugh. Anyway, Animal Crossing Wild World. This was on the DS, and probably what I spent most of my time on. Came out in 2005 and was re-released on the Wii U Virtual Console in 2016. Don't know why we would do it, but anyway. So this was almost the same. Let's see. One difference was I think you could pick where your house went. Sorry, it's been a very long time since I've actually booted up this game. I believe you could pick where your house was. There was only one house for the 4 players who could play. You would have your main room. You have your upstairs. You'd have your side rooms. You'd have your basement. But this one had a 3rd floor. Or 2nd floor. If you had just started. And that's where you slept. That's where you would go to save. You would have 4 beds up there if you had 4 people playing. Or 4 people with 1 save. That is. Oh. So, this was actually where you couldn't actually ask. So it was only in the first game that you could request something to do from the animals. This one, it says that they did not have that. So, basically, this turned right back into the exact same thing of, collect the bugs, collect the art, collect the fossils, collect the fish, donate them. This was the first time they introduced the golden tools. So if you collect all the fish, you got a golden rod. If you collect all the bugs, you got, a golden net. If you got all the fossils, you got the golden shovel. If your town is considered perfect, I think for X amount of days, you got the golden watering can. No tools were breakable up until the brand new game. Let's see. They added some new character customizations in this game. Specifically, they allowed you to change your hat, your facial accessories, your hairstyle, and umbrellas. Because none of those were in the original game. They added a watering can and a slingshot. So this was the first time they added presents flying over above. Which really, with the fact that you had a DS, so you had the top screen and the bottom screen. The top screen would show you the sky constantly, so you could always see if there was a present flying over. And this was the first time you could crossbreed flowers to get different things. This is where they allowed you to place patterns on the ground as a removable tile, probably because it was very easy to, create things with a stylus. They added Celeste the owl, Brewster the barman, and Harriet the salon hair stylist. So Celeste and Brewster were both owls. Harriet was a poodle, I think. Let's see. If you talk to Celeste, you could look in the sky and draw a constellation, which you could then see at night. So that's fun. I think this was the first game where if you became good enough friends with your animal, they would give you a picture of themselves, which you could then keep, even if they move away. At 8 p.m. every Saturday, you could go visit the Brewster's Cafe and hear KK Slider play. So that's fun. Let's see. Yeah, that's about... let's see. Let's see. This was... Some of the changes was blathers can now identify fossils. So you didn't have to send them away. It was a very, very nice thing. Let's see. So I didn't talk about Crazy Red. Crazy Red runs a black market in the original couple of games. And from him, everything is super expensive, super rare, and that's where you obtain your paintings. However, the issue is... you didn't always know what was real, what was not when it came to his art. He had forgeries, and there was a way to tell. The way he spoke changed if it was a forgery versus a real one. But I never really figured it out. So that always sucked. Yeah, it is an oof. But I mean, there's a lot of other things that are different, that changed. One of the biggest changes was from the GameCube to the DS was the fact that in the GameCube, the game was broken off into grids. Each grid was its own screen. So you'd have a screen transition anytime you went from grid to grid to grid to grid to grid. A little annoying, have to load if you're going places, accidentally walk off the side of the screen, reload. The DS version was the first time that they had a non-screen scrolling. So, yeah. I think I'm only going to stick with that. I mean, I could go on forever and ever on Animal Crossing. In the specifics, I'm just trying to give you overviews and things I remember from the game. But moving on to the third game, Animal Crossing City Folk for Wii. I never played this. My sister has it, but I never played it. So, the biggest thing that changed for this one is that they added the city. So, the city housed most of the special characters, such as Gracie the giraffe, who sold you fabulous clothing. There was Red the fox for his, shady deals. There was Dr. Shrunk and Lyle. And let's see if there were other things. Let's see. There's also the City Plaza, which had Phineas the sea lion and Kix the skunk. Kix sells shoes, I know that. Lyle now works for the Happy Room Academy. And Shrunk now works at the Marquee next door. Let's see. So, in this game, you could start fresh with a new character, or you could move in as your DS Animal Crossing character. So not all items would transfer over, unfortunately. Because not all of the item catalog and appearances appeared between the two games. So some things wouldn't change. No items, bells, or house sign. Oh no, that's only if you had an illegal game storage device. Yada yada yada. Alright. Let's read all the shops. So there was the Shampoodle, which was the hair salon run by Harriet. So obviously you could go to her to change her hairstyle at any time. There's Kix. He owns a shining shoe business, but he sold shoes. Crazy Reds, he sold paintings and statues, as long as they weren't fake. There was Gracie Grace, is a shop run by Gracie. Expensive items that were unobtainable anywhere else were sold there. Let's see. There's Katrina, who runs the fortune-telling service, and the Marquee, which was a theater. For 800 bells, the player can see Dr. Shrunk or Master Frillard's show and learn new emotes. Let's see. Yeah, I don't have too much else to add because, like I said, I never played this game. I'm scrolling through the characters. Let's see. Right. So Joan, the turnip salesman, was the original boar seller of the turnips in the first game, and that has gone across everywhere. Let's see. So there were tons of events with special characters. Like there was Chip, who we know as CJ in the new game, who would host all the fishing tournaments. Let's see. There were special characters. Jack, which was an animal with a pumpkin head for Halloween, where you would find candy. There was Jingle the reindeer for Christmas, There was LaBelle, Mabel, and Sable. There's Tortimore. There's just... Oh, Wisp was in this game. Interesting. Yeah. Like I said, I'm not too familiar with this one, so I can't really throw too much more in. So we're going to move on to Animal Crossing New Leaf, which was for the 3DS, which I actually also own. I didn't realize I actually own almost all but one of the Animal Crossing games. Main series. So this game came out 2013. This allowed for town customization. So in this, you were given 4 pre-randomized towns, and you could choose which town you liked. You were considered the mayor, and Isabelle. Everyone yells at me because I call her Isabella, because I forget that it's an E, not an A. Isabelle would, mistake you as the new mayor and say, "You're the mayor." So you have to make all the decisions. So your job is to set town ordinances and construct public work projects. Let's see. This was the first game where you could now sit on benches, I think, outside. Let's see. They added several new buildings. There was the Retail, which was a recycling store which buys items at 25% higher than Nook's stores. There was Reese and Cyrus who was running it. Cyrus would allow you to put your own designs on the furniture. Let's see. The Roost was a separate building for the museum, which was... The player may also work behind the bar making coffee for other villagers as a part-time job. So you could have worked at the Roost and made some bells. Let's see. The center of your town was the town tree, which used to be a wishing well in the older games. Basically, that's just where everybody would congregate for any of the events or festivals. Kix actually had a shoe shop. Let's see. There was a main street where all these shops were located. So you could go to one area instead of a city. It was just a nice little area. You'd go to. The museum was there, and all these brand new shops. Nook's was the Nook shop was still in your regular town, so you didn't have to go elsewhere for that. I did forget, in the original game, you could go to the pier and take a boat to an island. And the island is where you got coconuts and rare bugs and fish. That disappeared after the GameCube version and came back in this version, where you were taken by Captain the Turtle on his boat. He would sing and, whatever. Let's see. There was a gardening store, and it's owned by Leaf the Sloth. He'd sell you flowers, watering cans, axes, and saplings. Let's see. Nook's home was owned by Tom Nook and staffed by Lyle. So you'd go there to upgrade your house and expand, add rooms. Let's see. There's Club LOL, LOL. Replace the marquee. Dr. Shrunk and KK Slider make appearances. Dr. Shrunk was a comedian. I forgot about that. KK Slider appears every day apart from Saturdays as DJ KK, performing either regular or 8-bit remixes of his songs. Let's see, there's a Happy Home Showcase. Utilizes Street Pass so you could share your homes with other people. This has the Dream Suite, which was managed by Luna. Players can visit the towns of other players using their dream codes. Wendell also appears in the dreams to give the player patterns made by the player who owns the town. Let's see, then there was Nookling Junction, run by Timmy and Tommy, and functions like Nook Cranny, and it can be upgraded. So, that's the main thing for New Leaf. Really, it just took the past, made it better, with better technology, better everything. It just kind of took what they had expanded it and made it better. Which leads us to Animal Crossing New Horizon, which, you've got your Nook phone, you use Nook Miles, you're on an abandoned island, so there's no town hall. Chances are they're using this as the opportunity to get rid of a lot of those shops. Try not to reuse so many of the same characters. I was surprised to see Gex the Skunk, honestly, and LaBelle. I found LaBelle, actually. She's annoying. You've got the whole crafting skills now that you have to, gather the materials to craft your tools, craft your furniture, all that. That's all brand new. The fact that your tools will break is brand new. More expansive furniture customization, and the fact that you can obviously move buildings, you can place bridges, ramps, and then just, this was the first time they added fences, and the fact that you can just terraform, because before, once you had your island, that was your island. Nothing changed, or, well, once you had your town, that was your town, nothing changed. Unless you completely reset until you got a town you liked. They added the fact that if you ate food, you gained energy, and you could uproot entire trees or destroy rocks, which would come back. Oh, I didn't know that. If you eat food and you want to get rid of it, just sit on the toilet. That'll get rid of that extra energy. Makes sense. Obviously, a lot of the new things. There's the resident services for crafting, buying, selling items. Then once it expands to the town hall, then it's just the home expansion and village services, and holds the ABD. Apparently, Isabelle can kick villagers off your island, but that's probably once you've got a full 10. But not before. At least this is what the wiki says. They also added the Dodo Airlines, which allows you to travel for other places instead of using a bus or a boat or a train. This had complete customization for your character as opposed to letting it be random. This was the first time it lets you switch hemispheres. It always assumed you were in the northern hemisphere. Now you can be in the southern one and everything else. And then, just adding more realistic, customizations of clothing, what with the addition of sweatshirts, backpacks, phone cases. Of course, that's one thing Nintendo does very well, is a lot is different, but a lot is the same. They like to build off of their success. They're really good at finding what they did well in old games, and when they bring a new iteration, they take the stuff that worked, glue it in there, and then they glue more stuff on top, and they toss the old glue bits. They just, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And by Jove, they don't fix it. And that's good. One thing that has been floating around the internet recently is players have modded their Animal Crossing to have an actual bar indicator of their of the status of their tools. So it's like a little health bar underneath, and as you use it, it goes down until it breaks. And the rumor floating around is that Nintendo will add that as an addition eventually. Like the ability to see the status of your tools before they break, so you can decide, am I going to upgrade this real quick, or am I going to just slap a new color on this so it doesn't break? Type of deal. Let's see. Tom Nook, Timmy, and Tom, Timmy, and Tommy Nook all change their clothes in different seasons. So then, yeah, that's a lot of the stuff. Let's see. What is this party play? Party play. The player is allowed to invite up to 8 other residents on the same island. During the simultaneous play, the main player is the leader, as the joined players take the roles as followers. In addition, leaders and followers can redirect, making one another leader and follower. Follower obtained items will automatically be stored in the resident services building's recycling box. That said, follower may reclaim the item later. What? What? What is this party play? I don't understand. Whatever. This is stupid fandom wiki page. Anyway, for the most part, that has been the main series of Animal Crossing. There are 3 spin-off games that we're going to talk about now. I think it's just a dumb thing that they're saying, and its chances are they haven't updated that because nobody really knows. I think that's just saying, hey, you have multiplayer, the person on the island, is the host and everybody else joins. Unless there's something I'm missing. But anyway, so let's move on to the first spin-off game for the 3DS. It's Animal Crossing Happy Home Designer. So, in Happy Home Designer, the player is given a job at Nook's Homes and will be tasked with designing houses for villagers who visit the plaza of Newtown, who will each request a specific theme. The player then selects a plot of land for the new house to go and then can design the interior with furniture, carpet, and wallpaper. The game introduces a new character, Lottie, who assists the player with her job. The catalog is dramatically expanded with items grouped into specific themes for ease of navigation. So, as the player completes more requests set by villagers, more furniture options will become available, and then they can customize. And then, in addition, the player can customize other buildings in the town, such as the bridge, as well as build new projects like the school. So, looks like this is Animal Crossing The Sims. Your job is to make homes. And, the player can freely customize their character's appearance at the start of the game. And then you can edit your appearance later. So... This was also the first Animal Crossing game to be compatible with an amiibo. And there's also card amiibos. You can use that to unlock design requests from villagers and also to use rooms. So... So yeah, that is Happy Home Designer. Seems like a fun thing for people who really enjoy the whole build and everything. So, the second spin-off game is for the Wii U, and it's Animal Crossing Amiibo Festival. I knew nothing about it, but apparently it is somewhat similar to Mario Party, but it's Animal Crossing. There are a total of 8 game modes available. There are a total of 9 game modes available in this. So, there's the main, which was the board game. So, the first mode is the traditional board game. This mode requires the use of at least one amiibo figure, so you have to buy amiibos to play this game. It requires at least one amiibo figure. Any other player can use a preset human villager. Each game is set in a different month. The goal is to collect as many happy points as possible during the month. The game board has several different tiles which the player can land on. Pink spaces give happy points and or bells. Purple spaces will take away those points and bells. Green spaces are special events and will appear when special villagers are visit the town. At the end of the month, all bells will be converted to happy points and the player with the most happy points wins. Next game is Balloon Island. Let's see. In this game, amiibo cards are used to drop villagers onto balloons. They will pop for points before landing on a moving island to multiply their points by 1, 2, or 3. If the villager lands in the water instead of the island, they lose all their points they collected. There's 3 rounds, and the placement of balloons change on each round. So, yeah. Let's see. Then there's Desert Island Escape. Happy tickets can be used to unlock Desert Island Escape. In this game, 3 amiibo cards are used to send villagers to a deserted island. The main goal is to search the island to find 3 logs and a sail to build a raft and escape. Enemies are encountered and food must be found along the way. The game was soon ported to Animal Crossing New Leaf as a minigame. Interesting. None of the other games are detailed, but the rest of the games are Acorn Chase, Rossetti Bop, Mystery Campers, Amiibo Card Battle, Quiz Show, and Fruit Path. This game was considered negative by fans and critics because the fact that it was a required amiibo integration as cumbersome, hard to difficult, boring, repetitive gameplay, and taking an hour to get anything good, and the fact that you have to buy to play. This is the lowest rated game in the series, which is surprising because the last thing on our list is the mobile Animal Crossing game, Animal Crossing Pocket Camp. Pocket Camp, which I played for about a year, is a typical game. So when you start the game, Isabelle asks you to choose between 4 different types of campsites and asks you a bunch of questions to determine the kind you get. And depending on what you get, determines your villager that joins you initially. So the original 4 types of campsites were natural, cute, sporty, or cool. And then later on they added rustic, hip, harmonious, elegant, modern, historical, and civic. So basically your campsite can be customized with furniture and amenities. You gather crafting materials, which you use to craft with Cyrus the Llama. And this is where the phone game portion comes in, where it is you wait. You give it to him, he crafts it, and you wait. There's a time. Some things could take 1 day. Some very big things take 2 days. A lot of the other things just take a couple hours. You can speed things up using leaf tickets, which you can purchase. So your campsite is customizable by 7 by 13, and you have 2 amenity slots that you can build for your villagers. Let's see. The camper's interior can be decorated with furniture, wallpaper, and flooring, and you can add a second floor loft. You can customize your exterior at OK Motors, where you can choose different patterns and colors. So, yeah. There's lots of different kinds of crafting materials. There's a lot of crossover events. Like there's a Super Mario crossover where you could find 1-up mushrooms, mega mushrooms, and super mushrooms to use to make Mario things. You could make snowflakes you could find snowflakes for winter sports, crystal shards for the crystal collection, countdown charms. But there were more than that I remember. And then, so you had friendship levels with your animals. which is kind of weird. You know, there was a total of like 20 hearts for friendship to get a max level of, 43 plus. But yeah, the player has a level. This is raised by leveling up villagers. Each time a villager's friendship level is increased, a heart is added to the player's level progress. So... you could share your ID with other players, and it would, you could then visit them, or you could randomly see a friend kind of just walking around, and you could talk to them, and, they'd either give you something or you do something for them and they give you something. At the time, it was fun. So, I don't hate the game. It just was one of those games I just kind of stopped playing one day, and then I just never picked it back up. Actually, if you have your Nintendo account connected to the game, you can actually, I have a special spot in my, I can buy items from the game. I think people still are a little bit. It only came out in... Oh, it came out in 2017. It's been 3 years. 2.5. It's cute. It's something you can play on the go, and not something that you're required to pay, like, super close attention to. But, yeah. Specifically, it came out in the US. I don't even have a full release date. Worldwide, November 22nd. There we go. 2017. But like I said, if you can just... I think if you start it right now and connect your Nintendo account to it, you can buy some cute items associated if you want. But, I mean, that's kind of Animal Crossing in a nutshell, I believe I hit, everything, so... Yeah. So go ahead, throw in some questions, and I will go ahead and answer them. So Motive asks, I want to know how playing New Horizon compares to playing some of the older ones for me. So I have the best memory of the GameCube one, which was the original, like, OG. It's night and day different. Like I said, there was the whole wait an entire day after you send off your fossils to be able to, get your fossil back to figure out what it is. And then, anytime you donate something to Blathers, it was one by 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 one. Fossils were a lot harder to find because you had those gonk droids that you could also dig up, and those were a lot more plentiful than fossils, so you might find one, maybe 2 fossils a day if you were lucky. The fact that, you can run your entire island in probably 2-3 minutes in this game versus it takes you probably 2-3 minutes to go from the top to the bottom with the loading screens and everything in the original GameCube. I did forget to mention several of the buildings, like I said, there was the post office that they had in the original game. They had a police station. They had the dump. I mean, all 3 of those are gone. The dump is now a recycling bin in the services. The police station's gone. The post office is now in the airport. I mean, they just kind of streamline things. Like, you couldn't crossbreed flowers because you didn't have a watering can. There was no flying overhead presents, so there was nothing for you to shoot down because you had no slingshot. But for a first attempt, I mean, they had some really cute holiday events. There was only a tiny handful of games. Like, there wasn't even Halloween. I think there was a Christmas one. I think there was a New Year's one. I don't remember any other ones, to be honest. I'm sure there were more. But for the original, you know, it was bare minimum. Just, they did what they did. It was fun. It was fine, you know. If it was your first introduction to the series back in 2000 and what was that, 2001, 2005, like, it was a good game 19 years ago. And then obviously with the fact that they added new things with, you know, the DS's and the Wii and the 3DS, and then they've really just been able to culminate all that into this Switch version and just kind of that extra polish. And I mean, with the fact that they can release live updates for the game at any time, just allows for a lot. People are speculating on DLC. I can't see them adding any DLC for this because there's not much you could add other than being like, oh hey, we have a holiday DLC, or we have a furniture pack DLC. It's like, how would that work? Would you ban people from visiting other people then so that they can't get these holiday events? Doubtful. Because what's stopping me from having a friend, you know, like a group of people getting together, pooling some money for the DLC, and then sharing the furniture then? You know, it's like, oh hey, I got the brand new furniture for the Super Mario themed DLC. Who wants it? Here you go, here's your 6. Oh, here you go, here's your 6. There's, like, the only thing I could see them doing for DLC is to add new villagers and shops and NPCs and villagers. But I feel like they'd be better off just releasing those as free updates. It would, you know, save the community from getting angry over non-existent content. Because again, if you got new NPCs showing up, what's stopping me from going to your island and interacting with them? Are you going to ban people from visiting each other because you don't have the DLC? Doubtful. That's dumb. And goes completely contrary to what Nintendo wants, which is to, like, if you look at everything Nintendo does, it's all about promoting, working together, communicating with other people. Like, look at Pogo, you know. Their entire thing is they hate spoofers because you're supposed to go out there and work together with other people. That's why they have the whole, you know, Wi-Fi Connect, the Internet Connect. There's so many different things they have where they want you to be friends with people. They want you to interact. They're not going to ban you from visiting someone's island because you don't have DLC. But they're not going to make a lot on DLC. Like, for instance, in our, you know, Discord group, the 6 of us who all play, if we pool our money together and one person gets the DLC, we all get the DLC. You know, each of us throw in a $1 or $2. Bam, we all benefit from it. So, you know, it's just one of those, who knows what's going to happen. If anything, it's going to be, their DLC is going to be amiibos, which, To be honest, I guess I can technically start collecting amiibos now. I don't know how they work on the Switch, but could be fun. And then once I move and I get some shelves behind me, I can start, displaying my collection. But, yeah. So, do you guys have any other questions for me while we, kind of wrap things up for today's podcast? Why do I think this got so popular? Because of quarantine and easily shared screenshots to Twitter? I think it was the quarantine. It wasn't the easily shared screenshots to Twitter. I mean, sure, I'm sure that spread and helped get more people into it. But I think it was all timing. Animal Crossing has always been very popular for the people. And people love Animal Crossing because it's just a nice chill. But I do agree that this exploded because currently with the quarantine, you can't go out. You've got nothing to do in some cases, so you're going to play a game you normally wouldn't play. In this case, you have Animal Crossing. You can play incredibly easily with your friends, with Dodo codes, with Discord, with Skype. There's a huge difference to playing Animal Crossing on a 3DS versus playing Animal Crossing on a Switch. Because of that, I think that, the accessibility, the ability to easily play with other people, the ability for other people to visit you with a huge thing of customizability, all of that really just culminated into this was the absolute perfect time for it to come out to explode. Emotive says, well, all the screenshots on Twitter is what started getting me to be like, okay, maybe I need to get this. Is the reason you brought it up as a reason. No, I agree. That's another thing, though. So you have all these people who, have been diehard casual Animal Crossing fans, kind of like me. I'm not a diehard fan, but I've always been a casual. But I see all these screenshots of like these amazing looking towns, these amazing designs and everything, and it just makes me feel incredibly inadequate because it's like, I can't design that. I'm not that creative. I don't, if I spent hours, I couldn't even come up with something like that. It actually has been putting a lot of people off of the game. For those of us who can't design, can't art very well, we're just like, well, I'm never going to make my town look as good as you. And it's just, it's so prevalent out there because everyone's able to share it. And everyone's just like, well, crap, now I look like crap. You've got all these streamers streaming, their amazing towns, their amazing designs, doing it all live, sharing with their viewers, and, some people are just kind of like, So, who really knows? But, hey. Yeah, emotive. Yeah, it was such good timing. Unintentional, but good timing. Yes, absolutely. But, I mean, hey, it exploded, and at least for, the Funky Fam, it gave us a nice little nexus of all of us to, take a step away from our usual, Killing Floor, Dead by Daylight games together and just kind of play together, a nice, wholesome little get-together for all of us. So, I'm not going to hate on it. It was fun. We got some good stuff. And, yeah. and I forgot to do this at the beginning, but I'd like to give a big thank you to Emotive Energy for helping get me that unlimited SoundCloud. So that is why this podcast is about an hour, as opposed to what I would have had to do, which was less than 40 minutes. Because I ran out of my 3 hours a month. So look forward to close to an hour podcast every week. Coming to you live here on Twitch, catching you in the VOD, on YouTube, or just growing us on Spotify. If any of you are interested in catching the Discord, link is in our Twitch page. Easily visited at twitch.tv/DJ_funky_fresh. Always happy to have new people. Feel free to drop by on Twitch or YouTube. I'm always happy to talk to new people. And hey, we live in a world of the internet, and you might as well take advantage of it. So thank you everybody for dropping by and having this nice time with the Funky Bunch at Sunday Brunch, and we will come back with a new episode next week. So thank you everybody for watching. I hope you all enjoyed, and until the next time everybody, stay funky people.